This evening, heavy-duty operator tragically loses life in crane accident at Providence, East Bank, Demerara. NCERD hosts 3-month Spanish workshop in response to President's call for mandatory Spanish education. Destination Guyana now to host Business and Investment Conference. In the region, criminal gangs target refugees and migrants traveling through Panama. And internationally, Kenya forests evictions. Community leader says homes destroyed. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for October 6, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, police are investigating a tragic incident that claimed the life of a heavy-duty operator at Providence, East Bank, Demerara on Thursday, October 5th. 34-year-old Sean Anthony Joseph of number 76 Village Quarantine Berbice lost his life while operating a crane with a hammer attachment for a wharf construction project contracted to Tipuri Group owned by Mikhail Rodriguez. The preliminary investigation indicates that Joseph was alone in the crane while his brothers and other workers were nearby during the operation. Unfortunately, the crane toppled on the wharf, leading to Joseph jumping out of the operating area. Tragically, he fell on the wharf and was pinned by the crane. When the emergency medical team arrived shortly after the incident, Joseph was pronounced dead at the scene. After much effort, the body was removed from under the crane and taken to a funeral home awaiting a post-mortem examination. As the inquiry into the incident proceeds, Rodriguez, also known as the Guyanese critic, has expressed his and his company's willingness to cooperate and provide assistance in the ongoing investigation. In other news, the Senior Petroleum Coordinator within the Ministry of Natural Resources is set to face disciplinary action for the unauthorized reduction of questionable expenses by ExxonMobil from US $214 million to $3 million. Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat announced this following an investigation into the matter. The investigation stemmed from concerns raised after British company IHS Markit flagged US $240 million in questionable expenses during their audit of ExxonMobil's expenses in the Stabroek block from 1999 to 2017. Despite the Ghana Revenue Authority's initial no objection to this figure, the Ministry of Natural Resources engaged ExxonMobil in reducing the amount. Minister Bharat emphasized that GRA is the sole and final authority to determine the outcome of an oil company's expense audit. The ministry's role was to oversee the audit process and facilitate information exchange among relevant parties, including GRA. However, based on advice from Senior Petroleum Coordinator at Guyana's Ministry of Natural Resources, Gopnath Gowasi Jr., the amount was reduced. Subsequently, it was reported that the reduction was done in collaboration with GRA, but the minister later learned that GRA disagreed with the position. The initial claim of US $214 million remained unchanged. As a result, disciplinary measures will be taken against Gowasi for acting without authorization and providing inadequate advice. Additionally, the ministry will establish systems to prevent such lapses in the future and advise staff members to make full disclosures of their interactions and information sharing with sector stakeholders. Moving on, the National Center for Education Resources Development, NCERD, is conducting a 3-month Spanish workshop for education officers, staff, and interested individuals. The workshop, featuring practical and theoretical sessions led by bilingual educator Latoya Atwell, aims to respond to President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali's call for Spanish to be a mandatory subject in schools. EduFM, represented by Philip Williams during the workshop's opening ceremony, expressed its commitment to serving Ghana's children and praised the initiative. NCERD's head of the curriculum unit, Omowati Ramdeen, commended EduFM's effort to bridge the language gap and emphasized the importance of teachers meeting students' needs. Participants will attend classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays and undergo assessments, including a practical component. President Ali previously announced that Spanish would become mandatory in primary schools, encouraging both public and private sectors to learn the language. Stick around when we return. Ghana's Cancer Foundation launches Pink Power campaign with 3 wrapping events, and Destination Guyana now to host Business and Investment Conference.
Oh gosh, what is this? Me son can't read or spell. here.
Let's start improving your child race today. Register for our primary or nursery department. Hidden Treasures, we're located at 204 E Charlotte Street between Camp and Alexander. Or contact us at 649-0373.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
All we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all we will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinate soak for all you know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she wrote in even wrong. He shaped like a Guyana map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Destination Now, an organization formed to connect people of Guyanese descent worldwide and promote awareness about Guyana and its ongoing economic transformation, is set to host a business and investment conference focusing on global networking and economic connectivity. Diaspora Engagement Representative Stacey Mollison said this conference will assist persons from the diaspora who desire to invest in Guyana but find it challenging.
I am hosting a diaspora business and investment mission trip. It's a group of investors coming from the USA, about 30 to 50 investors coming, Guyanese diaspora and other folks coming in to look at investment opportunities here in Guyana. And we're hosting this October 10th to the 13th at the New Pegasus Hotel, 3 days. And we're really wanting this actually came out of the last 3 years of me working as the diaspora engagement representative for the state of Georgia. And so the Guyana Association of Georgia, we created a Homeland and International Committee. And so for the last 3 years, we've been engaged with our diaspora community, just asking what can we do to support you? What are the challenges that you're dealing with in Guyana? And one of the information that came back to us was basically that people felt that, when they did come here or they tried to get information in Guyana, coming back as a diaspora Guyanese who might not have been home in over 20 plus years or don't have the same level of family, connection, that they don't know what to do. They come here and they're told a lot of things, and it's like it goes into a black hole and they are left kind of flailing around and their frustration mounts. And then they get back home and they're like, I don't want to go through that experience again.
Destination Guyana Now was established to foster connection among individuals of Guyanese heritage worldwide and strengthen their ties to both their diaspora community in Guyana. Additionally, the organization is an informative resource for anyone seeking insights into Guyana and its ongoing economic evolution. Morrison said the conference will provide connectivity among potential investors, government officials, and Guyanese agencies.
We really need to bring people in a protected environment where, okay, we're here, you're coming with somebody on the ground who's been coming back and forth, and you're getting to engage and talk to private sector and government. They're coming to you, we're having discussion, they're telling you the process for how to engage with the different agencies and organizations, and we're having real connectivity and interaction as well with some Guyanese businesses on the ground.
The conference, which runs from October 10th to 14, 2023, will have over 30 speakers between government and industries.
The hashtag and the website for our conference is Destination Guyana Now. No, not next week, not next year, not next month, but Destination Guyana Now. So our website is destinationguyana.now.com, and it's happening October 10th to the 13th at the new Pegasus Hotel. And the first 3 days, which is the 10th, 11th, and 12th, it's all about engaging, hearing from private sector and government. And then on that Friday, the 13th, we're actually going out on a bus tour and actually seeing what's happening in the country.
Okay. In other news, Guyana Cancer Foundation kicks off the Pink Power campaign with a tree wrapping activity. The Guyana Cancer Foundation, headed by Bibi Hassan, has been actively aiding people living with cancer since its founding in 2016, particularly those battling breast cancer, cervical, and prostate cancer. The foundation is stepping up its efforts to increase public awareness of breast cancer during October, designated as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. These activities include highlighting the importance of early detection and promoting treatment. Yesterday, the foundation hosted its annual tree wrapping exercise. The tree wrapping exercise is a powerful symbol of strength and support amidst the challenges of breast cancer. It involves wrapping a tree with a pink ribbon or cloth, representing unity and solidarity in the fight against the disease. This visual reminder signifies community unity in raising awareness, offering support, and working towards a cure. It encourages sharing stories, educating about early detection, and extending help to those affected, emphasizing the beauty, strength, and hope that can be found even in adversity. Other events planned for the month are No Bra Day, National Mammography Day, Wear It Pink Friday, a breast cancer awareness walk, and a candlelight vigil to pay a tribute to breast cancer survivors, fighters, and those who lost their lives in the battle. Under the banner of Pink Power, the foundation is striving to rally community leaders and members to unite for this cause. Don't go away after the break. Biden administration to extend U.S. border wall, begin Venezuela deportations, and Kenya forest eviction. Community leader says homes destroyed.
Problem, Granny? I want
want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. It's Credit. And today, all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and poise cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, fried spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you want to know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in oil. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she papa buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a Guyana map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness, or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. The number of attacks by criminal gangs against migrants and refugees who cross Panama's 80-mile-long Darien Gap is increasing sharply. More than 500,000 people, the majority from Latin America, are expected to make dangerous journeys before the end of this year on their way north to the United States border. Al Jazeera's Latin American editor, Lucia Newman, has this report.
A group of migrants crossed the Tuquesa River into Bajo Chiquito, the latest victims of a growing number of bandits now operating in the Darien jungle. They described the men who robbed them to Panama's border police.
2 were armed with rifles and 3 had machetes, and 1 was on horseback.
One after another, the migrants tell us the same story.
They stole everything, even the food for the child.
The migrants arrive in Bajo Chiquito with no food or money to continue their journey. Some of the women have been sexually molested or even raped. 11-year-old Enrique Puerta and his sister Sarai are among the many children we find who seem desperate to tell us about their ordeal with their parents' permission.
There were many bandits around. They wore masks and came out with guns. And when we were on the road, we heard a lot of shots. And we saw dead people.
I got very scared when the bandits shot a man's foot. That made me very scared. I was also scared when I saw a woman who was dead in a river, alongside a child. They were already eaten. All that was left was their legs.
Thousands of children are experiencing the same thing. But there are also stories of sacrifice and selflessness.
I went to cross the river and I almost drowned because of exhaustion. The water was very deep. I survived thanks to this Cuban man, my nephew, and another man who saved me.
This Haitian woman was dying from dehydration, but was saved by two strangers.
She's a human being, we can't just abandon her. I told her that I would come back for her. I reached the village and I brought her down on this stretcher.
Panamanian border police concede they need more resources to contain the escalating crime wave in the jungle and keep migrants from danger. Danger that's not deterring those risking their lives to escape poverty and violence at home. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Darien Gap, Panama.
Meanwhile, the United States President Joe Biden has approved the construction of a new section of border wall in southern Texas. The announcement came during a visit by the most senior U.S. diplomat and other government officials to Mexico City for security talks. Mexico's president has criticized the move as a step backwards. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports.
With the new influx of migrants heading to the United States southern border every day, Washington is going back to an old strategy. Planning to build a new section of border wall, although it's only 32 kilometers long, in one part of southern Texas. President Biden tried to distance himself from the measure, telling reporters that Congress wouldn't let him spend the money any other way.
The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect that money. They didn't, they wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what it was appropriated. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
But the news broke just as high-level talks between the two governments began, leaving the Mexican president visibly unimpressed.
This authorization for the construction of the wall is a step backwards because it doesn't solve the problem. Doesn't solve the problem. The causes must be addressed.
Those causes are many. Economic meltdown in Venezuela, hunger and gang violence in Haiti, authoritarian governments in Cuba and Nicaragua, to name just a few. Not just the US Secretary of State, but the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security were in Mexico for the talks. It wasn't just migration on the agenda.
They took place in Mexico's National Palace just behind us. The United States wanted to talk about fentanyl, the synthetic drug that's now one of the leading causes of death in Americans from 18 to 49 years old. They want Mexican authorities to do more to stop criminals bringing it in here, cooking it up, and then smuggling it stateside. The Mexican government, on the other hand, wants the United States to do more to prevent weapons coming from the United States into Mexico and contributing to this country's sky-high homicide rate.
But it was the border that dominated the news conference that wrapped up the visit.
Strict consequences for those who do not use those lawful means to enter our country. Those consequences include swift repatriation, the swift return of migrants, and a ban on their re-entry. Just today, the United States announced its agreement with the country of Venezuela to repatriate Venezuelan nationals who do not take advantage of the lawful pathways and instead arrive irregularly at our southern border and do not qualify for relief.
By Thursday night, the visit had ended, but the long-running issues between the two countries remain. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
Internationally, community leaders in Kenya say police and forest rangers have burnt and demolished more than 160 homes near a forest reserve. The government has ordered the eviction of thousands of people. It says they're living illegally on the land that's part of the Mo Forest, an important source of water for millions of people. Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb has this exclusive report.
For days, Millicent Koyoni and her family have been watching Kenyan police and forest rangers setting her neighbours' homes on fire across the valley from where she lives. She's wondering if her home will be next. The government says people here are living illegally in a forest reserve. Then security officers arrive. The police chief says we will not leave a single house here.
I feel awful. I have nowhere else to go. They're not respecting anyone's rights. They're just burning houses.
Government eviction guidelines say residents should be compensated and given 3 months' notice. This happened in minutes. And it's a similar story all the way down the valley. Community leaders say more than 160 homes have been destroyed in the last week, rangers have beaten people, and thousands are being made homeless. The Environment Ministry didn't respond to our request for comment. The people who lived in this home told us that their family's been here for generations, since before independence from British colonial rule. But the government says this is necessary to protect one of Kenya's most important water sources. The Mau Forest is the largest highland tropical forest in East Africa. The rainfall caught here feeds more than a dozen rivers and 6 major lakes. An estimated 10 million people depend on it. Down on the plains, farmers and herders have been struggling with reducing water levels for years. Scientists say that's because more than a quarter of the forest has been destroyed since the 1990s, mainly by growing human settlements. Last week, President William Ruto said the government will regenerate it with help from foreign donors, and so the people have to go.
Those who left voluntarily, we will relocate them. But those who are still in the forest now, sort yourselves out very fast and leave, because we are going to put a fence.
Ruto was among politicians who encouraged people to settle in the forest in the 1990s. Rights groups say some of them made money from selling irregular land titles. The forest's been shrinking rapidly ever since. Kimanisho Koyoni says she was born here 60 years ago. In the 1980s, the government told her community they were outside the forest reserve and issued numbers for their plots of land. Now, her home's in ashes.
We know the forest boundary is half a kilometre away from here. The government's ignored the boundary and taken our land. It's important to preserve the environment, but this is not the right way to do it.
Previous rounds of evictions have also been marred by reports of rights abuses. None of them have stopped the destruction of the forest. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Narok County, Kenya.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.